So let's look at what we have here. Oh, look at this. We're back to equations. This is an equal sign, so this is an equation. And look, this guy has an exponent greater than 2 or greater, so it's a quadratic equation again. Means we have to get it into standard form before we can even start factoring, which it is not, because if it were in standard form, everything would be on one side. Doesn't have to be on the left or the right, but it would all be on one side and 0 on the other. In fact, in this case, because this is my bigger exponent and he's positive, I'm going to move both of these to the other side. If he were negative, then I'd just move him to this side and then we'd go from there. But I'm going to subtract this one and add this one. Remember, when it goes across the equal sign, this guy's sign will change to negative, this one will change to positive. And we want to put them in descending order. So we will have this. Thank you, somebody. I just heard somebody say, that's not what it's supposed to be. Good for you, whoever did that. When I moved him to the other side, his sign became positive. Not only that, guess what? This is a perfect square trinomial. That has to be positive or it doesn't work. All right, so rule number, now again, I'm going to ignore this for now and just factor this. So rule number 1, any greatest common factors? Oh yeah, A. Okay, now I look at what's left. Okay, so is this a binomial? Nope. Is it a trinomial? Yep. Is this positive? Yep. Can I get an even square root of a squared? Yep. Can I get an even square root of 49? Yep. Okay, now I need to check my middle term. So 2 times my x times my y, well 2a times 7 equals 14a. That's what that is. Remember to bring your a down. And we're going to do the pattern for a perfect square trinomial. Okay? So one set of parentheses squared, put my x in the front, my y in the back, and whatever sign this is goes right here. Oh, but I'm not done yet. I'm solving this time. So I have to set each of these equal to 0 separately and solve. But this one is the same thing twice. So I don't have to do it twice. I only have to do it once because it's exactly the same. So I have a equals 0, a minus 7 equals 0, and so my final answer is a equals 0 or 7. Now remember videos before where I said when we're solving, if we have a 2 here, we expect 2 answers. If we have a 3, we expect 3 answers. If we have a 4, we expect 4 answers. That's true unless we have a perfect square trinomial. If we end up with a perfect square trinomial, then we expect 1 less answers than what this is, because this ends up being the exact same thing twice. So this was a 3, we ended up with 2 answers exactly like we expected. Let's look at this one. Okay? Well, once again, it's an equation. It's a quadratic equation, but it's not in standard form. So I need to get it into standard form. Again, I could put them both on one side or the other. It doesn't much matter, except any of you who've had me forever know that I like to keep the bigger term positive, and this one's already positive, so I'm going to move him to the other side. And when he goes over there, his sign changes, and it becomes negative. Now get out your factoring rule sheet. Rule number 1, any greatest common factor. Oh yeah, I can factor out a 5. And then I'm left with 4h squared minus 9. Now, when we have this equation, we have this a here. So if we have something that we factored out, a greatest common factor, and it has a variable in it, you must keep that because we set that equal to 0 and we solve for that letter. But if it does not have a variable, I can't set that equal to 0. 5 doesn't equal 0. That makes no sense. But this is an equation, so I can legally divide it out. If I do that on one side, then I do it on the other. Now what I have, 0 divided by 5 is 0. 4h squared minus 9. Now I can keep going. Remember, if what you factored out has a variable, you have to keep it. If it does not, you can divide it out. I do not mind if you do not do this step and you get here. But if I asked you what happened to that 5, and you say to me, I'm not really sure, I didn't know what to do with it, so I just threw it away, then I'm going to make you put the step in. If you say to me, oh no, I just divided it out, then I'm fine, you know what you're doing. Okay? You need to understand how we legally got rid of this 5. Now, rule number 2, is it a binomial? Yes. Is that a negative? Yes. Can I get an even square root of 4h squared? Yes. Can I get an even square root of 9? Yes. So now I have, remember this is a difference of squares pattern, where now we have the two bubbles, same x's, same y's, different signs. So 2h plus 3, 2h minus 3. Now I'm going to set each of these equal to 0 separately. And solve. And so my final answer is x equals plus or minus 3/2. And how many answers was I expecting? 2. How many did I get? 2. And that is the end of factoring.